if you missed the ones from earlier this week, you can just go there and catch up. They're already posted there. And also, be sure to download our app. It's available on Google Play and App Stores for pretty much any device out there. And if you haven't listened to our podcasts, be sure to listen to them. You can either listen to them here on the website or go to your podcast app on the phone and download it by searching Trucking Nation Podcast. I believe we have about 5 episodes already, so there's something interesting there for everyone. Okay, so welcome to those who have just joined. Again, this is Elena with TruckLogics, and we're about to begin our webinar today, our training tutorial about managing your driver records and the driver pay. So here I have my TruckLogics account open, and this is the account of 3 to 7 trucks, which is a $12.95 package. It looks just a bit different for $4.95 package, but main features are available just as well for $4.95 as well as for $12.95 plan, and of course for $24.95 plan. So today we'll just talk about our drivers and how to pay those drivers. TruckLogics can help you with it. Now, first of all, just to help you navigate, to add a driver, if you have a new driver in your business, you can just go to Contact. First of all, Add New button, big blue button on the right-hand side, is a good place to get started to add anything new to your TruckLogics account. So go to Add New, Contact. You'll be automatically redirected to the address book, which is where you keep all of your contact information, whether they're customers, brokers, drivers, and of course carriers. So click on Add New and choose Driver here. Now there are 2 types of drivers, of course. There's an employee, which is your W-2 employees, and a contractor. Just for training's sake, we have the option for an employee, but TruckLogics does not offer a W-2 option at the moment, so it's just for your reference right now. We are working on adding W-2 employee management and the payroll options for those guys, but for now just 1099 contractors. So you can add the company name, the driver's first name, let's say John Smith. Let's make it Junior because I believe I already have John Smith there. You can put the driver ID here. And then if he's an owner-operator, you can mark that down. Their email, work phone, and so forth, and save. You can also add a picture of him. You can add his address, and if you don't care for it or if you don't know it, just skip it. Payment details. Here you can put how this driver is agreed to be paid by, whether it is pay per mile and manual pay or percentage pay. And you have an opportunity to actually add the rate for this driver. So let's say if your company prefers to pay 60 cents for loaded miles, but 40 cents for the empty. Here you go, that's your rate right here. Then you can add his CDL number, when it was issued, or what state. Let's see, we're in South Carolina. You can add his license expiration date. We're actually working on adding expiration alerts for both license and medical. Contract start dates, contract end dates. Endorsements, you can add them here. Then you can add emergency contacts if applicable, just so you have a reference for a quick lookup if needed. Okay, and then you can also add other information such as notes and other social media information if you prefer to contact your drivers via social media. But notes could also be preferences, preferred routes and things like that. So you can just go ahead and save your driver. So this is how easy it is to add a driver, and if you ever need to reference the driver record, you can quickly come back here and then sort by name, or you can just look them up this way. And here's our John Smith Jr. right here. You can always delete them or edit information anytime. Now let's take a look at driver preference. Of course, there's always a driver that prefers driving a certain truck and maybe even using a certain trailer. So here you can come back to Truck Zone section and go to your driver preferences. And it will list all of your drivers, and you can also assign specific truck to this driver. All right. And when you are creating dispatches, the preferred truck and the trailer will automatically populate without you having to enter them. You can always edit it as needed, but you won't have to. It will save you time. Now, what if you have a driver and you would like to communicate with them using TruckLogics? Is that even possible? Yes, it is. In TruckLogics, we have an option that allows you to give access to your drivers to your TruckLogics account, but the account access will be limited only to what you want them to see, meaning just the dispatches, details of where the load is going to, getting picked up and getting delivered to, and they will be able to do their check calls, record expenses, and fuel ups. So it will save you time and avoid confusion and improve communication throughout the company. But to give access to your driver to your TruckLogics account, you would just go to Settings next to your name, and then go to Driver Credentials. And here, just click Set Up Driver Credentials. If it is an existing driver, here's our John Smith Jr. Driver Jr. at TruckLogics.com. And then you can add his phone number. And save. When you hit create, the driver will actually receive a automatic notification letting them know that this business has assigned them as a driver to the TruckLogics app, and it will also give them the temporary password, and they can actually use that password to log on, and they will be prompted to reset it as needed. Also, you can remove a driver from your TruckLogics app access if, let's say, their contract is terminated, or if for whatever reason you don't want them to access the information, so you can just remove them. They won't be able to log on. And if they call you and they say, oh, I can't remember the password, you could just reset the password here as needed as well. So how do we actually calculate the payments for the driver? Let's go ahead and take a look at it. One of the best ways to figure it out is by creating a dispatch for the specific load that you're planning to pay your driver for. So let's see, I think I had one set up already. And I think I had, I believe this one would be a good example. So let's say we just went ahead and created a dispatch. If you have questions on how to create dispatch, let me know. But otherwise, just create a dispatch and assign the driver to the specific load. And then when ready, as you remember, the drivers, you can set up a certain pay rate for them to save you time. So here we have driver TruckLogics assigned to this load. I'm just going to go to trip settlements here. And I see that my driver is listed here. His payment method is pay per mile. Preferred payment method is pay per mile, and his name, CDL number, and all the information. So here I have one last chance to add pay method. I can either pay by pay per mile, percentage or manual pay. So what if I do pay per mile? What happens here? You can choose values from either paying by the dispatch, which is total miles for this trip, which is in our case 792 miles, or you can use trip sheet miles. So what is that? Trip sheet miles actually calculate both empty and loaded miles. If in situations where you pay different rate for the trips, empty or loaded, you can choose trip sheet miles and pay different rates for the trip. How do we add loaded and empty miles? You would actually go to trip sheet. You can use per miles to add the states and the mileage in each state, and you can add empty miles before the trip or after the trip, or you can actually switch loaded miles onto empty, which I did in our case here just for the training sake. And I'll save it here to show you. So if we go back to trip settlements, and we do pay per mile, and I do trip sheet miles, I changed it as you recall, so now we have more empty miles, 300 empty, 492 loaded. Okay, so his total hauling charges will be $366.40, and you are ready to go ahead and save it and actually create driver settlements. But what if you have other things going on for your loads? For example, if the driver had a lumper to perform, you can actually add the payment for the lumper, and it also automatically records it as your business expense. Other things, like if you have stop-off bonuses and things like that, you can add it here. Reimbursements, maybe you had to pay for a meal or hotel, you can add it here. Fuel surcharges, I forgot to mention that. You can pay by flat fee percentage or per mile as well. And then deductions, maybe you have to deduct certain amount of money for permits or violations or anything else. You can add them here and actually deduct money from the driver pay. And then you can just hit save. And then you will see a message, driver settlement has been saved successfully. And you can even see your net trip revenue here. Things changed. This is your total hauling income, but there are other expenses and driver settlements here. So after all said and done, this is your trip net revenue and the revenue per mile here as well. That's just a little quick side note for you guys. You can also edit it until you settle. So what if you were ready to pay this driver? So TruckLogics tells you that the check should be written for $466.40. You can just go ahead and hit make payment, and the settlement will be marked as settled in your TruckLogics account, so you know you're done with the specific load, driver has been paid, delivered, and everybody is happy. Or what if you prefer to pay your drivers on not a trip basis, but what if you pay them, let's say, every week, every couple weeks, once a month, and so forth? How do you do that? Well, in TruckLogics, we have an option. If you go to Accounts and go to Driver Settlements here, you will see all of your non-settled payments for the drivers, so the driver name, last paid date, pay amount, and total unpaid amount here. And you can also see the payments that have been settled under driver payments. You can see your driver's name, last paid date, amount, and how much you actually paid them. So let's take a look at driver non-settled for now. So let's say we have Jane here. She has 4 unsettled dispatches. So if I go to a little dollar sign here, I can choose all 4 if I want, all 4 dispatches, and pay her. Her amount will be $7,105.20. Or maybe I'm not ready to pay her for, let's say, most recent trip, I can undo it, and it automatically deducts the amount, so her check should only be $6,645. And then when you're ready, you can hit Save. Actually, I'm sorry, I forgot that you need to choose payment mode. Let's say you wrote them a check, maybe you paid credit card or funds transfer, then you put when you paid, and it even shows you total unsettled amount. You can add a reference number. Maybe you have a paycheck number or payroll number that you use. You can add it here for your quick reference. Here and save. So when you do that, this amount will actually record as a payroll expense in your TruckLogics account. And you now can see this driver, Jane Roberts, listed under driver payments. And you can see the amount, $66.45, and number of dispatches she was settled for, and the last pay date was January 9th, 2015. And if you ever need a reference to check, you can click on a little dollar sign, and it tells you, okay, on January 9th, and the reference number is 89799. You paid her by check $6,600.45 and 20 cents for 3 dispatches. Now, a lot of you inquire whether you can actually print this off. We are working on adding this option. It should be coming up very soon. So stay tuned on our social media and also email newsletters that we send out for the latest updates on TruckLogics features. So this is how you settle with your drivers and keep track of all your information. And if you ever need to get back and see how much you spend on your payroll, how much you paid to each individual driver, just go to Accounts and then go to Expense Transactions. Payroll is an expense. Choose Payroll as an expense category here. Choose the time frame you want to know that you have spent money on. Let's say from July 2014 to January 10th. Search. It'll give you all the payroll transactions performed in your TruckLogics account with their amount listed. And just as a quick reference, you can sort by payee, which by your driver that you have paid to. Let's say Jane Roberts here, and you can say, okay, she was paid here, and you can also see where driver settlement to be paid or has been paid. So you can tell right away how it works. Okay, and if you need a record of it taken elsewhere, you can actually copy this information and paste it onto Excel spreadsheet or so forth if you need to have a reference taken or emailed somewhere else. So that is actually all I have for for driver management and the payroll. It's very self-explanatory. Again, just to summarize, this TruckLogics features for the driver pay help you with the 1099 employees, not your W-2s. Currently, it doesn't allow you to do the deductions like Social Security and other taxes and things like that, but we're working on adding those features. That should be fairly shortly when they become available, so stay tuned on those too, but your 1099 employees should be well taken care of with this feature. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor for the questions. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions about the features that we have gone over so far. Okay, so we have a question. Someone wanted to see one more time how you can settle for multiple payments, multiple trips on one check. So you would go to Accounts, and then driver non-settled. I hope I have a couple for you to see. Okay, so let's say this driver here, he has 2 unsettled dispatches. As you see here, it shows 2. Then you go to this little dollar icon, And you can choose payment option, let's say check, reference, put a date, and then you can choose either all trips in this list, or you can pick 1, 2, and so forth, depending on the time frame that you're trying to pay or other conditions. And then you can just click Save, and that marks this dispatch as settled for the driver, and the driver is marked as paid for that transaction period. All right, and okay, that's a great question, how you can see the expenses for this. All the expenses for your payroll are listed under Accounts in the Expense Transactions. And then you can search by payroll. And you can see all your expenses for payroll, whether they have been settled or not settled, so you can quickly reference it as well. Also, on your profit and loss report, you can see overall income and spending, and the payroll will be listed on there as well if you spent anything. Okay, well, that's all I have for the driver and payroll. If you have any questions, if you're still typing, I'll stick around for a couple more minutes. Otherwise, thank you everybody for attending. If you haven't downloaded our app, please do so and tell us what you think about it. Also, if you have any questions, you can call us at the number above, email us, or initiate a chat. Be sure to follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google, YouTube, or even on Pinterest if you like. We have a great blog for you guys to read. If you go to our homepage, TruckLogics.com, under blog, we have great articles for you to learn about different things in TruckLogics. We have a new one today about distress hacks and the deadline reminders and things like that, your New Year resolutions. We just had one for ISTA. For those of you who have to file ISTA, this is a very helpful blog. Also, if you missed yesterday's training, it was about ISTA in TruckLogics, so it would help you as well. Just go to our YouTube channel and catch up on that. Otherwise, just read through our great articles here and learn a bit more TruckLogics tips and actually some other tips for your trucking business, just like this New Year resolution thing. All right, well, if you guys have no questions left, I thank everybody for swinging by and learning about drivers and payroll. And if you have any questions, I'm always around. Just contact me at support@trucklogics.com. And I hope everybody will have a great, great weekend, and looking forward to hear back from you guys. Be sure to sign up for the training on Thursday. It'll be great. We'll talk about just overall TruckLogics features and also tax time and preparation for tax time in TruckLogics. If you have missed the email, let me know. I can email you the link to join the training. It's available online through GoToMeeting, and I can get you the link for that to sign up. Again, this was Elena with TruckLogics, and I thank everybody. Have a great weekend.